They are not policy making, but they are policy tools. So it is kind of tool-based, something like that. Okay, I finish it. Do you have questions regarding this three ladies' presentation? If not, let's make coffee and tea. Thank you. Please. Coffee break. How long? Maximum 20 minutes. This is maximum.
The title of our second session is The Role and Engagement of TPOs in Promoting Green Business, Foreign Direct Investment and Trade Facilitation. So following the program, I would like to invite Mr. Demberel, Member of Parliament, Chairman and CEO of Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to make the keynote speech from Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Floor is yours.
Okay, so actually it is not keynote speech. It is just sharing what we are trying to do here in Mongolia. So keynote speech will be made by everybody because we are key persons. So everybody, every TPO will make its own view on this, how we should be engaged. And of course we are engaged very much, but the sharing our experiences, how and in what areas and what tools we are used, I think it is very essential to. And always from my experiences in participating different kind of this TPO meeting, that I always gain some experience. I always get some idea from this kind of networking. So let me just start from how, for example, we are seeing this three topic we today going to discuss. First of all, this is FDI. That means this, this how we are facilitating trade and investment. I think, as the Prime Minister told this morning, we are now at this stage to invite back sometimes, because we have made some mistakes last year or 2 years ago, adopting certain laws, which is quite not encouraging. In certain extent, it is limiting, because maybe we thought that we are now independent in terms of but we were naive as a country, as a decision makers. And we understood it, and we adopted new law on FDI. And I was a working group member in the parliament, and I was trying to put in the new law what does any TPO, like Chamber of Commerce. And also I would like here we have also representative of as a result of this our new law. We made new agency, which is Invest Pro Mongolia. It is government agency. And now, for example, we are working very together with this agency. This is new agency, and they need to get our support. And this is kind of institution. And also we put the certain elements of the ombudsman service. Any foreign investors, potential foreign investors, before they will not only looking at what is this country about this in terms of the climate, investment climate, and how this he or she will be treated as a company also. Whether this company enough hosting services which is needed. So that's why the working group, this representative there's mentioned about this country A, country B. So it looks like as a basic, but at the same time it is very important. So therefore, the FDI is for Mongolia now very, very important. And we are realizing it. So therefore, Chamber, even as a TPO, we put added certain elements to our traditional foreign relation department. That this staff, my staff who's 5, 6 people, they should be engaged in also in investment promotion. But the investment promotion just doesn't come automatically. It needs the skills and spirit also, how to work with and how to invite and how to serve. So that is investment promotion techniques. Because we, as a TPO, we have all our traditional TPO trade promotion tools and techniques. So how to, or if we will just combine this investment promotion, is it just the same as we suppose usually do, or it is different? So this is a question mark. And that's very important that you will share with us. So how, for example, we could combine it. I think this is very important. Mongolia, in doing that, for example, now, for example, investors in many countries, they are seeing what this country is about in terms of doing business. Singapore is #1, so many years. Mongolia is ranked somewhere 76, a little bit progressing. And this morning, Prime Minister told that we are making this business enabling environment reform, beer, like drinking beer. We are just exactly going how Mongolia is ranked and what we should do. And there is a lot of red tape. In the Chamber, as a TPO, we have our very old traditional tools, the Chamber's tools, which is called Red Tape Perception Index. We are surveying among the local and domestic and foreign businessmen how it looks like, how they feel living and working in this climate. And we ranking the government agencies by their attitude and service on the perception of the business community. It is quite strong tools, and it is affecting, but it is not, I think, affordable to each TPO here, because each TPO has its own approach. And also we are making kind of this different kind of survey and business matching, a lot of business matching. And even now, we're thinking about this, how to really make this ombudsman activities. For example, Qatar has, it's good. If I'm not mistaken, Qatar has an ombudsman service, isn't it? Right? And when we were adopting new law, I was mentioning in the Parliament House that we should read about what other trade promotion organizations like JETRO and Qatar is doing. Some of our members of Parliament, they don't know what's this JETRO and Qatar, MATRADE, etc. So someone has to introduce them. And there is a special agencies, institutions, which is dealing exactly what we are trying, it is called trade promotion. Sometimes in emerging economies, especially, trade is just considered as automatical. Even certain part of the society, it is not considered so to say, bringing development tools. So I think, therefore, trade promotion is still very important. But what we are, and what I am trying to focus is how to successfully combine trade promotion and trade investment promotion. And other thing, now I will to move to my part, trade facilitation. Very, very familiar term, especially very familiar to those who are this member of the WTO. But how about this, how it should go with these TPOs? Some of TPOs, in Europe, for example, there is a special agency specializing on trade facilitation. They are private ones. In Asian chamber structure, not so many chambers are engaged in trade facilitation. I don't know so much about this TPOs, classical TPOs engagement in, but I think once we want fair and liberal trade, once we want to make trade as a tool of our common prosperity, I think we maybe also should think a lot about this trade facilitation. That's why, as a TPO chamber, has started this trade facilitation as an initiator. And we have also a tool. And this tool is received by us from international agencies. Now, for example, in order to make assessment on what areas, in what sectors we should facilitate trade, we are doing so-called time cost distance analysis, which is available in UNESCAP. UNESCAP has good methodology on this. And WCO, the World Customs Organization, they have also the similar tools. ADB has similar tools. And we have received these tools, and now, as a result of this, within the last 2 years, we have made more than 20 products, import and export product, time cost distance analysis, and gave it to Parliament and government. Okay, do this, because business wants this, because they want easy trade, not complicated. They really need kind of this custom procedures and other procedures should be user-friendly, business-friendly. That's, in simple language, trade facilitation is about. And we are making kind of this, and then we're trying to find what's the solution. The solution was ready. Another UN agency which is located in Geneva, it is called UNICE. Very rich experience on this solution of this trade facilitation. And it is called SEW, Single Electronic Window. And probably you have this. But mostly in the countries in Asia and the other part, it is considered as if it is job of the customs. But actually it is not job of the customs. Customs is only one participant. TPO, like Chamber of Commerce and the other associations, should be engaged very strongly in this. So therefore, we are trying to, and we are initiated this single electronic window and give it as a draft resolution, and government is adopted. And in several law of Mongolia, including the customs law, it is the first term trade facilitation was included as a responsibility of certain ministries and certain agencies. Before, for example, customs usually in their classical term, they were working mostly in terms of the fiscal side, how to make more revenue. Now, World Customs Organization and many other organizations, now many other customs, they have started to think on how to facilitate trade and how to work and how to develop public-private dialogue in trade facilitation field. So that is what we are trying to do here in Mongolia. Then, having such a trade facilitation, we thought then there should be public-private dialogue-based institution. So therefore, there was established a single electronic window national committee, whereby we are trying to facilitate trade. Because exporters, say for example, importer in Mongolia wants to import from Thailand rice. For that, he or she has to spend 42 days and quite a lot of money. In within the supply chain. Inspection, then pre-inspection, all this kind of these issues, and he has to, and then that adds the cost, and the consumer will suffer, and inflation will be affected. So something like that. So this trade facilitation is just other side of the trade promotion. So this is how we are trying to combine here in Mongolia. So far, anyway, good. But we still need a lot to do in this field. And I just take example of ITC, International Trade Center. After Bali meeting, post-Bali, now ITC has, as far if I'm not mistaken, it is a special division or group which is engaged in trade facilitation in developing in the other countries. Is that right? Yes. So trade facilitation is getting more and more as a kind of activity and tools of the trade promotion organizations. I don't know how, for example, in our network, legal mandate or some organization chart, whatever, is allowing to be engaged in this. But in terms of Mongolia, even though in our mandate as a Chamber of Commerce, although it is not expressed explicitly, but implicitly, it is expressed when we are talking about the trade promotion, we mean also trade facilitation. So that's why, because if you want to promote a business or trade, you have to talk and discuss and work with the business people. And business people will complain to you. It is very difficult for us, these inspections. It is very difficult for us, this is customs, standard, etc. And this kind of this technical and non-tariff barriers are very much cost to the business. So that's why, as a TPO, we are engaged in this. And we are trying to work with this correct transport corridor. Mongolia is landlocked country, but not mind-locked. Therefore, as other Central Asian Republic, we are engaged together with this correct, how to make these joint corridors. And in this field, we are working with the ADB and also UNISCAP and this is UNIC. They have tremendous kind of the expertise resources in working with this trade promotion organization like Chamber of Commerce. And we are gaining from them experience. And now having this trade facilitation as one of our combined tools jointly with the traditional and classical trade promotion, that makes trade promotion as a kind of this more influential tool. So this is what I just wanted to. So how to roll? I don't know what's the role. I just know that what we are doing, but what should be role, that's what we will discuss, and how to engage in different forms. For example, I remember some years ago, during this meeting, we were discussing about these trade promotion tools. It is still very important but it is, maybe it needs to be added by certain investment-related or trade facilitation-related tools. I think and I hoped, and I'm looking forward to listen, to hear from you certain also good things on this. MNCCI is engaged a lot in this business promotion tools. This year, for example, we visited China 6 times, and we received more than almost 10 delegations from different countries, and trying to host, trying to promote the trade investment. But I recognize that we should work within the ATPF more. That's why they exist in this working group level meetings, because this working group people, they will tell us what the lower level of this business they think. So therefore, I think the three presentation which was made by this work, I think it is very important for us to go further. And one of the times, it is not just easy job. It is, we should, if we are ATPF, I think this is, seriously, I just thought it should have this, this logo. It is not nice design. It is not about nice design. It is about the product promotion. Because we are product making bodies, our brain and our joint activities. So therefore, and the desk, ATPF desk, at the chamber we don't have it, but we will have it right after this. I will make sure that we will have ATPF desk, and each ATPF member's information will be gathered and online will be connected. Then we will promote ATPF so as a joint our product. So that's what we will do. And also one of the issue is maybe for TPOs, which is by legal mandate belongs to government, but independent, they have operational independency. I think it is also very important to have this more dialogue with the business community. For example, Chamber of Commerce is membership-based, but many of you are not. But our market is business and government. So we are working with the government, but mostly with the business people, and trying to know what they want in terms of trade promotion, trade facilitation, and investment. So that is, I think, and if we look at our composition, there is a certain Chamber of Commerce and World Trade Center. This is purely private or non-government, non-public institutions. And we, by nature, we engage more in this business-related, business connection, interaction. And I think that is maybe also we should think about how to make sure that the exhibition we will organize in further will be more authority and will more imageable and more attractive for the business people. Even UN agency is trying to organize exhibition. For example, UNESCAP in Bangkok, every year they are announcing business week. And international organization mindset is changing. They are more toward to dialogue with this private sector. Everybody talking about. So TPO, as a TPO, we are kind of leadership. We should have kind of leadership, take kind of leadership in terms of this what I am mentioning. And my last thing is about the green business. It's fashion. But whether it is just fashion or it is just new philosophy. For me, I think it is new philosophy of TPO. Because the whole world is changing, the attitude is changing, and everybody talking about it. And we started this new green initiative almost 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And when we just first started to speak about the green business, nobody understood it. Among the business committee at the government level. Then we were trying to get experiences. Then we found many organizations, say in Asia, UNESCAP, green growth, UNIDO making green industry, and UNEP in Geneva, they are green economy, etc. World Bank, ADB, everybody talking. So then we have decided to get certain concrete things. Then and when we look at the European Union, they have some kind of quantitative task. Each country now, for example, Japan has CO emissions should be reduced to 20 or something like that. So then we initiated that 520. Up to 2020, Mongolia should reduce energy efficiency by 20%. It is very much business related, because companies, they would like to economy cost, but how to do, and whether there is a government framework. So that was needed. And now Mongolia has, by our initiative, Minister of Environment and Green Development. And we just, in the spring session of the parliament, there was adopted Green Development Program of Mongolia up to 2030. And so this is kind of legal and political framework. Now within this framework, we have to act as a TPO, how to promote green business, how to gain that this energy efficiency and whatever, this water efficiency, etc. This company which is working on this field, how we should work so that they could meet each other and gain from each other. So this is investment. Investment is becoming also green. And for example, in the mining sector, now we are telling to the investor that you should not pollute our rivers. You should be responsible mining, something like that. It is not only about this mining, it's for every sector, food stuff. And we therefore, for example, we initiated so-called movement, which is called Organic Mongolia. And by the assistance of JETRO, some years ago, 3 to 4 years ago, we have made first in Tokyo Organic Mongolia small exhibition. We were trying to introduce JETRO, and through JETRO, Japanese companies, what we want. Now, for example, on the agenda, how to promote this. It is one thing that we will say we are natural, very natural. It is one thing, but to implement and to make it known, it is promotion, professional and very far-reaching promotional activity. So I think we are trying to work in this field. For the hotel, for example, we have many hotels. Now we have this green leaf. We introduced this green leaf. We are not government, but we discussed with the Minister of Tourism and the Minister of Environment that we will make it, and they agreed. And green leaf is kind of this tool to promote green hotels in Mongolia. And the energy efficiency, we are trying to make energy auditing among the companies. How you will benefit if you will save certain this in your this manufacturing process, whatever kind of this energy efficiency or kind of. So this 520 is our main product, and it was adopted as an official document. And even now, for example, very small, small thing, but we are trying to, our members and non-members, to develop green offices. Let's start from our offices. So that's what our the main the message to them. And now, jointly with some NGOs and some companies, we are making this green office. And usually also, and in order to promote green business, Chamber has started to publish green paper, green economy. You see this green paper. This is not so rich, but still there is something to say. What now, how to engage the companies, and most importantly, what we should propose to the government in order to incentivize. Nice words and kind of traditional promotion activities, awarding system, etc. It's good, but not enough. There is a need, economic incentives should be developed. So who will think about this? First of all, we have to think. And then we have to discuss, and we have to propose to the government, okay, please do this, because business people will be incentivized in this if you will do this, etc. So it is again about the law change and kind of government policy changes. So that's how we're trying to. And last, my staff asked me, because in here we have, each TPO should say some things. And I propose a 3L. This is not good, but I think if you look our spirit of gathering together and working so many years together. I think we should maybe please show it again. 3L, three leadership. First, leadership in green business. Second, leadership in trade facilitation. Third one, leadership in export and investment promotion. So that's how, for example, our TPO's network and the ATP could work. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite now Austrade representative to make presentation. Please, floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Chairman. I'd like to quickly talk about Austrade's focus for the next financial year and the areas that we want to expand upon and adapt into our changing environment. Firstly, the key government themes of the new Abbott government. The Minister is very keen to promote that Australia is open for business. That's a key theme he's using. That we would build on our strengths, that is, capitalise on things that we're already good at and capable of doing. And that, of course, as you all know, foreign direct investment promotes growth and innovation. Another element that I haven't put on the chart that I would make available today or open today is that Australia is also very keen to promote women in business and women in export. And as such, actually, I would offer today to the TPOs present that Austrade, with the Department of Foreign Affairs, is running a workshop in November in the Philippines, in Manila, aimed at enhancing the capacity of women-led small businesses, and it's offering slots for 4 women CEOs, fully funded, to participate in that forum in Manila. So if there are TPOs that are interested, then please contact me or Tony during the day. Secondly, from an Australian point of view, we always have to adapt to a new environment, and our economy is in transition. Of course, Australia is only a small population, 22 million to 35 million. I think that's roughly the population of Mumbai, so, but across the continental size of the US. So, you know, by 2050, we're still only 35 million people, so that is a constraint for us, and we have to understand what that means. We also have an ageing population, and so therefore that places different demands on our economy. And as you are fully aware, our terms of trade are dominated by resources and energy and commodities, but they're not a big employer. Mining only employs 2% of the workforce, and agriculture only employs 3% of the workforce. So whilst they're our biggest exports and contributor to our revenue, actually they're a very low employer. So that means as commodity prices come off, we have to find other income streams, and that means that we are moving more towards a services economy, of which actually is 85% of our GDP, and capitalising on intellectual capital and intellectual property in our workforce. So if you look at Australia today, we are in a nation in transition as we try to take the reliance off resources only and move into other streams of activity. So as far as Austrade is concerned, we focus on 4 pillars. We market our education capability, both through our universities, English as a second language, and of course our vocational education skills. Educational services is actually our 6th largest export revenue earner, so it's a very important component of what we provide. Of course, Austrade also has a responsibility to attract investment into the country. We're the Trade Promotion and Facilitation, or Export Facilitation Organisation, and we're also now responsible for tourism population. And tourism and education are actually our 2 largest services, so it's appropriate that it fits within our TPO. From an investment attraction point of view, Austrade has been tasked with 5 priority sectors to focus on. Agribusiness and food, I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. Tourism infrastructure, Tourism numbers, of course, are growing rapidly. The fastest growing demographic, of course, is Chinese tourists. And actually we're seeing Chinese investment into ageing Australian tourism infrastructure expanding greatly. Of course, we're still focused on resources and energy. Australia has the largest reserves of gas in the world, but it requires significant investment both onshore and offshore. And we're focused on advanced manufacturing, services and technology, and new major infrastructure plays, especially around roads and facilities, but also new investments in resources. To enable that, we've appointed 5 specialist senior investment advisors. So these people are experienced people from industry, and they more or less perform a concierge type role. So they act as a go-between between the countries wanting to invest in Australia, the various state governments, and also the federal government. So if there is an issue, then actually the senior investment specialist is the person that's tasked to handle that issue and bridge across all the different parties. The aim is that we want to accelerate the ability to invest in the country and not have it bogged down in bureaucracy or a state government issue or a federal government issue, for example. So that's another way in which the Minister is demonstrating that we're open for business. And Austrade also chairs the Australian National Investment Advisory Board, which includes all of the states and the territories. So we're responsible for bringing together all of the opportunities for investment across Australia and managing those with the states. At the end of the day, it's the states and the provinces that have to execute the investment, but Austrade is the organisation responsible for facilitating that. From a trade promotion point of view, of course, we have an international focus, and we divided that focus up into function, so focusing on growth in emerging markets, for example, Latin America, Africa and the Middle East, South Asia, and some of the CIS countries, and established markets and East Asian markets. And we effectively have allocated our resources according to where our requirement is most needed. And within that, the most important thing for a trade promotion organisation is to be able to deliver back to your community what are the opportunities and the insights. So for your teams in the field, like Tony here, for example, representing Australia in Mongolia, it's really important that you have a strong understanding of the market and the market requirements, if it's energy or if it's a water issue or if it's a food issue, and that you actually be able to explain that in great detail in order to attract the exporters to that market. Of course, on a global context, you can almost say there are 2 markets, China and not China. And therefore, when you're dealing with not China, then those markets are either having their supply chains affected by the demand from China, or they're attempting to sell to China. And the only reason you need to understand that is because the motivations of those countries are different from what the motivations of the China market itself might be. But clearly we want to take advantage of both. We consider insights into markets to be 2 things, simple or complex. A simple opportunity is one that is kind of clearly understood. It's probably transactional in nature. It's no less of value, but it's just a transactional capability and is probably well understood. And then we have complex opportunities where we put a lot of effort, and we've developed a process to both analyse and articulate a high-value opportunity. We call that PRETS, P-R-E-T-S-S, and we call it following the PRETS trail. And what we recognise is that in new and emerging and growth markets like this one, often it's not just a simple case of turning up with a piece of technology or a piece of equipment or a good or a produce. There's a lot more things that need to go into the process before that can even occur. That may mean that you need policies or regulations or institutions to be in place for mining tenements, for environmental sustainability in mining, for example. There's also a requirement for some research or research collaboration to understand the problem or to define the problem. Then we can start to deliver equipment and technology. And of course, tied to that is also skilling, particularly vocational skilling and services. In other words, what I'm suggesting to you is that now when we are looking at an export, we're not just looking at a transactional selling a good or a product, we're looking at selling a package, an end-to-end package of how an entire capability can be delivered into a market. And the end product of that is export, and the end product of that is education and skilling. Okay, so part of our aim here is for Austrade not just to become an exporter of goods and a reliable export partner, but actually to become a trusted partner in delivering a capability that is sustainable for the market and the economy and for the betterment of the society for which we're exporting that capability. Mongolia's green energy requirement would be a great example. So there are 6 factors in a PRET's success in the process we undertake. So this might be interesting from a TPO point of view. Invariably, there's a market trigger. For example, 350 miners killed in a mine environment in Turkey. Turkish government recognised it didn't have enough safety regulations. Australia has a comparative advantage in mine safety regulations. We have a capability and a capacity to deliver that, and our exporters were willing to participate. So in a very short time, less than 2 months, we were able to assist the Turkish government deliver a mine safety capability that previously didn't exist at all, simply by following the PRET's trail. So I think it's a very effective way to do that. Our team focus is we're interested in high global demand, of course. So if it's worldwide, high global demand is a tier 1 client. Our tier 2 clients is where perhaps it's one market or 1 or 2 markets, but there is significant demand. And then, of course, as opportunities appear. Our guiding principle is that the government does for business what they cannot do or cannot do efficiently for themselves. And so a lot of our energy and focus is in growth in emerging markets and less so in established markets like the US or Europe, for example. And we've also chosen to focus on a known number of 10,000 exporters out of a potential 50,000. In other words, we focused. And finally, I should say that our trade team sector focus is around agriculture, food and consumer resources, and you can see up there, that's all our areas of comparative advantage. And the last chart, I would say there are 2 really interesting things that are happening in Australia at the moment, of which we're focused on from a TPO point of view. The ministers, the chairman has spoken about energy and water, but actually we believe that there is an energy, water and food nexus, and we've developed significant expertise in how to manage those 3 components as they combine, so we're promoting that in a number of regions. And of course you also know that there is significant investment going into opening up Northern Australia, which is a tropical area, to be a food and energy supply chain for the region over the next 50 years. And there is a lot of research going in there, and some of your markets are actually participating or looking to participate in that research. So Australia is about to open up a whole new energy and food bowl in its north, which is creating a lot of export and investment opportunities for us. So that concludes my presentation on Austrade and where we're focused for the year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very interesting presentation. Now I would like to invite presentation from Kotra, please.
Chairman Temporal of MNCCI, Chairman Ishige of JETRO, and distinguished guests. I'm very pleased to have a chance to share Kotra's innovation in information service with you. I will begin with the background of Kotra's innovation and then explain Kotra's strategy and achievements. Finally, I will conclude with implications of Asian TPOs. First, I will briefly explain the background and how we pursued information service innovation. Recently, there have been changes in information service environment for government and public organizations. First of all, there is an increasing demand for disclosure and sharing of information. In this sense, we are requested to break from the conventional way, but to be more open and willing to share information with customers. Information dissemination has also changed from supplier-oriented to customer-based. To respond to such changes, the Korean government has promoted the government's 3.0 initiative As you see in the slide, Government 1.0 pursued efficiency and provided one-way delivery service. Government 2.0 put citizens at the center of the initiative. Information disclosure and citizen participation are promoted to a limited extent. However, Government 3.0 provides customer-oriented services to individual citizens. Customers may enjoy personalized services based on openness, sharing, and collaboration. To satisfy customers' demand for information disclosure and customized information, and to respond to the change in government operation, KOTRA decided to pursue a new approach to our information service. Now I will explain about KOTRA's strategy and achievements in more detail. KOTRA has established information service innovation strategy with 3 pillars: openness, collaboration, and customization. Openness enables customers to view business information which was limited to internal use only before, and collaboration with partner organizations to offer better information service. Lastly, customization ensures that we offer tailored services. I will elaborate KOTRA's achievement of information service innovation. KOTRA disclosed overseas companies' database which were internally used for matchmaking service between overseas companies and Korean enterprises before. As you see from the slide, users select a country or item to search overseas companies, then clicks company's number to view details. Many users enjoy this service as they can easily get overseas companies' information. Along with disclosure of overseas companies' database, KOTRA has also offered more information. For example, the overseas market information previously reported to CEO and the management only is now available to the public as KOTRA CEO report. And we also offer them overseas business travel guide, which was accessible by overseas business travelers only. Now I will move on to collaboration. In order to provide better quality information, KOTRA has strengthened cooperation with partner organizations. For example, our overseas investment information system provides integrated information given by 24 overseas investment-related organizations. I ask for your understanding that the website is in Korean. This site is for Korean company. In addition to use our partners' information in our website, we also provide our information to our partners' website. For example, we offer ours to TradeNavy, an overseas business portal managed by Korea Traders Association. I will explain about KOTRA's customized information service. So far, KOTRA has provided business information through a number of websites, such as Global Window, which provides overseas market information, and Buy Korea, a global B2B e-marketplace, etc. We are now operating 8 different portals. However, customers have experienced difficulties in selecting which website to find required information. To tackle this issue, we established a single window for users to easily find the information they want. This slide shows overseas business information portal of KOTRA's single window. The portal helps customers to search and obtain required information in a more simple and convenient manner. To help your understanding, I will explain how users search information in the portal. When you want to search automotive parts market information of United States, you input product code and select country, which is United States at this time. Then click search button. Then all kinds of United States automotive parts market information we have are displayed in a single page. This information comes from KOTRA's each website, such as buyer's information and buying offer from Buy Korea. market trend from global window, and trade show information from our exhibition portal. For customers who have not obtained required information through our portal, we also provide customized one-stop consulting service called Trade Doctor. As indicated in the slide, a customer files his or her case online. Then professional consultant at Kotra provides one-on-one consulting service. Apart from the online service, customers may call the call center or visit Kotra. And sometimes the Kotra consultant may even visit customers if needed. If anyone has issues that may not be resolved through the consultants at Kotra, then they can have a consulting service with over 1,000 global experts nominated by Kotra in the field of custom clearance, accounting, investment, marketing, standard and certification, law, finance, etc. Selected experts will provide a customized service without charge. Lastly, I will suggest implications of Kotra's information service innovation to Asian TPOs. Above all, disclosing more information and providing customized information will secure customers' trust and enhance service efficiency. To satisfy customers' demand for different and broad range of services, it is critical to closely work together with related organizations. I hope there may be an opportunity to exchange information within Asian TPOs. This concludes my presentation on Kotra's information service innovation. I believe that three pillars, openness, collaboration, and customized service are practical elements to consider to enhance TPO's information service. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Kotra, for your interesting presentation. Now I would like to invite a representative from Sri Lanka Export Development Board, please.
Once again, good morning, Chairman of JETRO, Chairman of Mongolian Chamber, and distinguished delegates. With your permission, may I use the podium for my presentation? Since I'm alone, I think I need your support from the operator side, so I'll call you one by one while the slide is on. Okay, get back to the first slide, please. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see the next slide. Yeah. The topic says the balancing of social, economic, and environmental objectives in the export value chain for sustainable development. So it gives the meaning sustainable development all about balancing. So I would like to start with the World Bank quote to support this topic. And in fact, this is how Sri Lanka Export Development Board looking at this. World Bank says development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. That is what World Bank says. And in other words, what we are trying to say is meeting the needs of the future depends on how well we balance social, economic, and environment objectives or needs when making decisions today. The goal of sustainable development is to improve living standards and the quality of people's lives both now and for the future generation. That's all about the first thing. No, you have gone far. Second slide. I will tell you what to move. Yes. These are the contributors. The important thing is basically sustainability assured to all stakeholders, irrespective whether they are active contributors or passive contributors, that whether they are living or not living is an important factor. Next one, please. Okay, we are going forward then, I mean. When I say only, I move the forward. Otherwise, I'm complicating. I can't see properly. Sustainable export value chain. Yeah, moving to next slide, please. Yeah, to give you input, we have selected 3 major sectors. It comes on the next slide. Handicraft sector, an apparel sector, and we call it backyard economic sector, that is Divinaguma program. Number 1 is basically make sure the poor people, economically disadvantaged people are transformed into income insecurity status to self-dependent status. That is for the supply handicraft sector. Regulatory bodies are transparent and accountable in maintaining relation with manufacturers, workers throughout the supply chain. All the children have a right to go to school, therefore it is assured that no child labor is assured under any circumstances. Yeah. It says, passing dividends to all the contributors for the supply chain, workers are paid with a fair wage which have been mutually agreed by both the parties. Men and women are paid equally, no discrimination among different ethnic groups. Workers are free to join from trade unions. Workers are provided with appropriate working conditions such as appropriate lighting, ventilation, etc. Then we move into slide 7. You can see assist in capacity building in respect to the environment. Managerial entrepreneurial skill development, we are focusing provision of required technical know-how also. Appropriate waste management techniques, water management techniques, use of renewable energy, efficient use of depleting resources also considered. When we are moving to next slide is apparel sector, one of the success story of Sri Lanka, free of child labor, free of discrimination. All the children have a right to go to school. Therefore, it's assured that no child labor is used under any circumstances. Workers are not discriminated in hiring, compensation, access to training, promotion, age, disability, gender, sex, political affiliation, etc. That is on the apparel sector. Yeah, it says one more important factor in apparel, free of sweatshop practices, appropriate working conditions. Workers are provided with appropriate working conditions such as appropriate lighting and ventilation extra once again. Fair practice overtime. And also, working required only to work during the agreed required working hours. Overtime work will always be voluntary and not be demanded on a regular basis. Workers have the right to join off from trade unions and bargains collectively. Worker representatives are not discriminated under any circumstances. That is on the apparel sector. Yeah. Social responsibilities encouraged without the provision of various facilities for apparel sector workers such as provision of accommodation and meal, transport, recreation facilities, career development facilities, entrepreneurial skill development to employees. It's another initiative taken by Sri Lankan government, and it's quite important. We call it Divinaguma. Divinaguma is a recent initiative promoting backyard household economic activities, giving a new dimension rural economic base to evolve as an organized family economy. Ladies and gentlemen, here I think I have to say something about Divinaguma. As you all know, Sri Lankan exports are highly depending on few countries like Europe and USA. We had a vision in Sri Lanka backed by Export Development Board to promote household unit, is backyard economy. whoever who has little land, we are entrusted with their capabilities into that land to produce their own fruit and vegetable. We are happy to endorse, we are happy to say that even with the last year's recession, previous recession, our exports or our economy didn't shaken up much. Many countries faced that recession during that period, and as a result, your economy has gone, shaken and curved a little bit. But thanks to our Divinaguma program initiated by Sri Lankan government as well as supported by Export Development Board, our SME sector and the supply chain from the grassroots level was very stable. So therefore, there was no major impact. Let me explain importance of domestic agroeconomic unit. The government of Sri Lanka has already identified domestic economic units contributing to the domestic supply chain in areas of agriculture, dairy production, and industrial sector. We considered all three sectors separately in a domestic level. As a trade promotion organization, incorporated them into the agro-export value chain and infused the required values to create a socially responsible agro-export supply chain while creating economic feasibility. The next slide says, what are the economic feasibility? It's the quite important factor that I'm going to insist. Cluster information through one product, one village concept. There are so many villages dedicated to one product. Provide skill development programs in the technical know-how we have provided. Introduce good agricultural practices. Introduce demand-led productions, linking up with exporters and assure guaranteed prices. Whatever they produce, we assure the price. Whatever they produce, we buy it from them. So therefore, their supply is also assured, their production is also assured. They are basically, they are as a unit, as a family, they are assured about their production and their money and their investment. It's not a major way, it's a little way. Introduce possible. This is what we are talking about. Organic practices mean it's not just normal product.